Hello, third graders. How are you guys doing? I hope this finds you all doing really well, listening really well, and being kind to one another. My name is Courtney Johnson. I have the privilege of serving as the mayor of the city of Carver, and your teacher reached out to me with a few questions. So I am just going to go down the list. The first one I've already answered. My title is mayor of the city of Carver, and it is a role that I have been honored to play for the better part of the last almost 6 years. And then before that, I served on the city council. Next question is, what are some issues or topics that Carver is helping to solve right now? Well, there are a few. Carver is growing. We've got a lot of folks who want to live in our community. So the city council plays a really big role in planning for that growth. Not only do we plan where the houses go, where the businesses go, but we also have to plan for where the infrastructure, so where the roads go, where the pipes that go underneath the ground that make sure that the houses and the new businesses get water and sewer to their house. We've got to make plans for all of that. We also really work really hard in planning for park development. So when all of these new houses and businesses go in, we want to make sure that there is some open space where folks like you can play with your families outside so that there is room for parks. So that's a really big thing. We have a new park that's going in at the corner of Jonathan Carver Parkway and County Road 40, which is going to be called Creekside Park. And there we're going to have some pickleball courts. We're going to have a dog park. Eventually there will be disc golf, and then that'll be accessible by the trail system. So that's some of the exciting things we're doing. We're also building a new bridge downtown in downtown Carver. So if any of you have ever been to the Carver Creamery to get ice cream or other treats, the 3rd Street Bridge is what we're reconstructing, and that's essentially just right behind the Carver Creamery. So we got a little bit of a late start on that this year because of the flooding. And then we had some issues with the construction, I guess, of the bridge. So got a little bit of a late start. We really kind of started last month, which was October, but we hope to have it done before Thanksgiving. And then last, I think one of the things that we're working on that's more longer term is the levee improvement project. So if any of you guys remember all of the flooding that we had last summer when you guys were out of school, the river got really high. The Minnesota River in downtown Carver got really, really high. And it put a lot of the homes and businesses that were in jeopardy if something would have happened to our levee. So what we're doing is we're working on a really, really big project. It's $13 million, which is a lot more money than I'll ever see. But it's a lot of money that we're going to be investing in our community so that we can strengthen this levee so that we never have to worry if there's another flood. So those are a few of the projects that we're working on right now in the city of Carver. Um, Next question is, how do you use majority rule with your job? As mayor and on the city council level, everything that we do is based off of majority rule. So if we do a new ordinance or if we accept a concept plan or a preliminary plat, like essentially the drawings or the plans for a new business, it has to be approved by the majority of council. So I have the privilege of serving with 4 other individuals, and everybody thinks that that I have more power than the rest of the folks, which is not true. That is false. My vote is carries just as much weight as the other folks that I have the opportunity to serve with. So if I vote for something one way and everybody else votes the other way, they get their way. Whatever they want passes. So we have to have majority rule. So on our council, 3 votes in favor would be majority. Um, how does Carver use tax money to help the majority? Um, in Carver, our tax money, and I think in most places, tax money helps everyone. It doesn't just necessarily help the majority. But in Carver, some of the ways that tax money is spent is things like paying for the fire department, paying wages for the firefighters, and paying for their trucks and turnout gear and other equipment. Taxes also pay for the trucks, equipment, staff of our public services department. And those are the folks who mow the lawn in the summer. They make sure that there's clean water running to your house. They plow the streets in the winter, and they do a whole bunch of other things. And we're really lucky to have them. They also pay for staff salaries, and they pay property taxes, pays my stipend. It pays the electrical bill for City Hall and our street lights and all of the electricity that we use at all of our properties. So tax money goes to a lot of things that you probably don't even realize. Last question is there anything coming up for Carver residents to do to help get involved with their community? You know, that's the reason why I moved to Carver almost 15 years ago, is because I was really excited about getting involved in my community. And we are lucky that in the city of Carver, there are a lot of ways that people can get involved. So, adults have the opportunity to volunteer on some of our commissions. We've got our Heritage Preservation Commission or the Planning Commission. We also have our Parks Advisory Group that folks can volunteer on, or folks can volunteer or sign up to work for the fire department, which is not a volunteer role. That's actually a paid on-call role, but I would absolutely put it in the community service category. As far as kids, there isn't anything coming up that I can think of because these examples that I'm going to use just happened, but there are roadside cleanups that the folks who own the Getaway Motor Cafe help lead twice a year. So you can help pick up trash along the side of the roadway. You can also do something that could be as simple as helping your neighbors rake leaves in the fall or shovel snow in the winter and just help build community just in your own neighborhood. I'd also say that a really good example is an example that I actually got from a third grader who goes to Carver Elementary last year, probably at this time. His name is Caden, and he sent me a letter because he saw something that just didn't look right, and he wanted to see what was going on with it. So there's an area in Carver where there are two population signs that really aren't too far from one another. And the numbers on those population signs were different. And his question was, why are they different? It's a long story, but the one is off of a county road and the county has to update those, and it hadn't been updated. But by Caden sending a letter to me, it was something that I drove past more often than I want to admit, and I hadn't noticed it. So he was helping me out by pointing something out that I hadn't seen, and in a really, really cool way by sending me a letter in the mail, reached out to me and was able to affect change, and we got that changed, and now those population signs are exactly the same. So all of that is to say that if you guys ever have a question, if you ever have a concern, if you ever hear something, if your parents are talking about something, I'd encourage you guys to do the same. Please, please, please reach out to me. I like to think that I'm really available. I'm absolutely happy to answer any questions that I can. So if you ever have any questions, your teacher knows how to get a hold of me. All of my information is on the city's website, and then it also comes, even with my cell phone number, on the utility bill that your parents get every month. So thank you guys for your time. I appreciate you reaching out, and I hope you learned something. Take care. Bye.